Good evening, guys.
Good evening, Mr. Ba. How are you?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, sir. Morning. Good evening.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah, hi,
Sir, actually, I couldn't attend the last class.
everyone. Hi. So today's session is the last session, the last module, and the last module is about technology. Why do you think it's been put as a module? Why do we need technology? And what's the use of technology? How it can help us?
Technology, it will help us to minimize our work task, and in today's field, it is very important to be in touch with the technology, sir.
Can you come again, please?
Technology is the present world. This is the more technical concern, and it will simplify our work, sir. So it will support us to minimize our work, sir.
I believe technology could help us to monitor the the equipments and for the proper escalation and all sort of works.
Okay. Any other contribution?
Also, CAFM, sir. That I believe that
Yeah.
is we could consider as a for the reporting.
Yeah, but in general, why you as a facility manager, why do we use technology in general? Why do we use technology?
To make our job easy.
Communication. Technology helps us facilitate our work, help us be more professional, help us to be more organized, as well as many other advantages. It also helps our organizations to monitor everything that we have. So that's why, what I said regarding that help us to be more organized. For example, if you put all your meetings, schedules on technology, it will become much easier for us to manage. Data loss will be less. That's why companies adopt CRM systems or full integration with accounts so that all the records everywhere are integrated. And by that also we become more efficient. Previously for us to process data from the sites, how much we're consuming, what are we utilizing for each client, it would take so much time and so much processing. Now, if you have a full CRM and a full integrated accounting software, you can, the technician, the moment they enter a project and they put that they have put this much for the client, it can go to automatically to billing, it can go to the clients. So that way we have better organization. The organization will have also better visibility. Those of you who are looking into accounts or project records, if you have a fully automated system, it might be just a few clicks, and some companies even have dashboards where with just by logging into the system, you can select what kind of performance criteria you're looking at and have a view at it. So you can have, rather than us looking, let's say energy optimization, rather than us doing calculations, how much we spend, what was the power. Now with the latest technology, I can have real time and I can have historical records. I can go to a chiller and check historical records from the day it was commissioned till now. What was its performance? What were the breakdowns? I'll have everything. I'll have all the data there. So that definitely makes us more organized, more professional, and have clearer visibility. So that's why technology and the facility manager by IFMA is that a competent facility manager should be able to monitor and evaluate technology trends and innovations. A critical part of you being a good manager, no matter what you're doing, is to be up to date with the field. A good doctor is a doctor who's always going to conferences and learning about the latest in medicine, reading, and keeping himself or herself educated. If you don't do that, there are some doctors who are like that, but you stop somewhere. So that's why you should be always aware on what's the latest in the industry, what really makes sense, what can we adopt for us to improve our operations, and so on. And a facility manager should also be able to conduct assessments and collaborate on facility management technology needs in order to recommend technology improvements. So an important thing is that it's not like an IT functionality. Of course, IT are many software implications fail in some or many organizations is because they let their IT department go and pick the software. And I've seen it millions of times. Let's say someone wants an HR software, they go and talk to the IT people, they go and buy the best, the cheapest, or what is prominent in the market, and they buy it, they implement it, and then the screaming happens from the people who are executing it. The best way to adopt a software effectively in an organization is to go to the people who are directly utilizing it and directly benefiting from it. So this should be here. What IFMA is saying is that the IT definitely are involved, okay, because they are the professionals. They know what's compatible with the system, what can work, what don't work, okay? And they will be able to evaluate it technically. But a facility manager role is to align the facility management technology with organizational information technology. You as a facility manager should be aware of what's there. What do you need? Maybe they will come with a fancy software which you really don't need, and it's like an overkill for you. Maybe you need something more robust. Maybe you need something with a bigger range. So all of these, you should be aware of what technology you can utilize. Some technology you need the IT, but other technology like related to equipment and things like that will have different professionals handling it. You should be able to assess the application of technology within facility operations. So in terms of the facility itself, if you need certain, like you need to automate certain parts, like let's say you're having frequent shutdowns and you need a better tool to monitor the shutdowns, to monitor them and to monitor your equipment. This is one thing. The other thing regarding your operations itself, the way you process a job order, the way you handle a complaint, the way you request a supplier to provide material. Where is it tracked? How can I access that? Okay. And then finally, a facility manager should be able to evaluate, implement, and operate an integrated workplace management system. So this is the key word, and which we're going to look into the details of it. This is like an integrated workplace management system. We will come to explain it in detail. So this is a little bit more than having a CFM. CFM is just a part of it. And this is like the trend that's going on. Similarly, when ERP systems, now the trend is that 10 years ago, it was not the trend. It was like an accounting software was limited to accounting. You had at that time, I think Peachtree and some of those names, you know. And then the others were there, but they were not that prominent. But now everyone is having an ERP system where even on the project side and the stores, everything is linked seamlessly. So previously you used to have store records, and then they will take the store records, implement them in the accounting software, and update them maybe once every month, every 3 months, or whatever. Now you have ERP software and systems. Even when the moment the storekeeper checks out something, it automatically reflects in the accounts. So accounts doesn't need to refresh it. It becomes seamlessly. So strategic alignment of the facility technology. I lost my icon just a second. Okay. So throughout the course, we've been talking about the strategic alignment of whatever we do. And we have seen how when an organization decides on a certain strategy, all divisions of the organizations are affected. If an organization wants to be aggressive and go and target clients and become a luxurious organization, it reflects on the HR, the quality of people they hire. Similarly, if they want to go in a different approach, if they want to be a frontline service company or whatever industry they are, okay? If they want to be a reliable, let's say, a reliable internet provider with no shutdowns. So their facilities, their HR, their operations, everything is affected by that. Strategy is something, whether you will have it, whether you write it down and plan it or not, or it goes unsaid. So at a good organization, they will go and write down their strategy. They will know where they are, and they will shape their strategy moving ahead. And that's why how companies achieve becoming the Teslas, becoming the Facebooks, and so on. So the facility use of technology. So similarly, technology is one of the aspects which can be affected by the overall strategy. So the technology of the facility must be seen in context of the organizations and FM strategic plans. Technology is a tool that can perform certain tasks, but it would also be seen as the means for aligning those plans and helping the organization and FM achieve its strategic objectives. So technology, for the sake of technology, we don't do that. We don't carry, it's not like someone who is like having a technology fad, oh, this is the latest technology, we need to get it. It's much more than that. We need to know why we use the technology. Assess if we really need it. I've seen organizations that paid in development of software several million riyals, and they never utilized it. Simply because they thought that this is the best thing and they should adopt it, and it's an extension. And then you find the adaptability of this is zero. So the benefits of advanced building technologies include cost savings. So technology mainly can be used as a tool for cost savings. You see any big building with a sizable chiller system, it should have a BMS. And why it should have a BMS? Because a BMS can manage the HVAC, at least, operation much more efficiently than managing it manually. And that saves costs at the end of the day. Another advantage is the longer equipment life. So when you are having everything recorded and plotted down, and similarly like these new cars now, the new cars now, you drive it for 5,000 or 10,000 kilometers. At the 10,000 kilometer, it will start telling you you need to go to a maintenance. Even before you reach the 10,000 kilometer, they will tell you that your maintenance is nearing by. So again, this is a very, very simple part of it. In terms of building equipment, it can be much more advanced, where you can log in when you did the preventive maintenance, what kind of corrective maintenance you've done on it. You have some kind of equipment even which is linked to the company manufacturer somewhere in the head office. So when you go and call an agent and tell them you have a problem, many of them will have visibility of what's happening inside your system. So this will definitely, when you're doing better maintenance, when you're doing high visibility of your operations, you're going to have longer equipment life. Optimized use of facility space. Again, there are many software that help you to manage the space. So we mentioned in the last session is that space should be looked at as an asset. So if I have a building complex and I have 5,000 square meters of offices, if I use them as an asset, I will be able to use them more efficiently. And then another advantage, they include, there are way more advantages than that. Efficient vendor relationship and project management. So vendor relationships, when did we order the material? When did we pay them? Is our payment delayed? So these kind of things really make your relationship improved with your supply chain. You are as strong as your supply chain. Not any company can survive without its supply chain, because no matter how big you are, you will still need suppliers to provide you with equipment. It becomes much more efficient than if you do it on your own. And again, another area of importance is the project management. Primavera or Office projects or many other softwares provide better visibility on project management, where we are in the budget, where we are in the timeline, what's the projection. That's why the big organizations, when they're handling a big project, there's a separate even planning department. And that planning department is running on software. Doing it manually is very cumbersome, and it will take a lot of time and a lot of effort. So with one click, you can see every day where you are in terms of cost and so on. So really, there has been a revolution with the utilization of technology in the last few decades. And now we are seeing the devices getting smaller, that the equipment is becoming smarter, starting from the vehicles. Now our vehicles are much more smarter than they were. Previously, it was maybe some technology was there, but it was expensive and limited to certain brands or high-end cars. Now it's everywhere. Now, if you get a flat tire, it will tell you. If you want to do maintenance, the vehicle will tell you. GPS system is now on your phone. It wasn't like that 10, 15 years ago. Alignment with organizational values. This we mentioned is that when we decide on something, let's say the organization on top decided they want to be energy efficient in whatever they do, then it means that in our facilities, we have to consider that in the way we are selecting our technologies. Improved organizational governance. So when I have everything put on systems, I have improved organizational governance. There are many softwares used in many different ways. So one of the systems, for example, is the approval system. So in certain organizations, when you want to approve a procurement of something, you will have it all linked. So if below 5,000, maybe the person can approve it. If more than that, it needs to go to a supervisor. The visibility will be much better to someone, let's say a multinational organization, someone who's sitting in the States. They will still be able to see your daily operations and the accountability, who approved what, where are we. So there's no more lag, and the governance is better now. Enhance workplace quality and services. Of course, all of this boils down to having a better workspace quality and services. Technology is used a lot around us in facility management. So some organizations like shopping malls and centers, they use all kinds of technology to improve their business. Some businesses utilize a heat mapping software, and this is not like a rocket science. It's done here in Qatar in many places. So malls usually will have a counting system. It will count the number of people. Some of them have more advanced system where they go and do heat maps. So what does a heat map do is that even inside a shop, you can decide to have it. You will be able to know where are the areas where customers are circling around more. Where are the areas maybe you need to shift more attractive merchandise so that you shift the people there, or the other way around. You find that certain merchandise is getting the attention. So if you want to promote something, you take it to that area. Lots of benefits. They are as varying as the number of softwares that are there and available, which you can use as in facilities. Documenting compliance with laws, regulation, and contracts, and knowledge management. So compliance with laws, regulations, and contracts, you don't need to wait to the last moment and then find out that, oh, I have to renew my lease, or I have to apply for a QCD permit when it expires, or I have to call MOI for an inspection. All of those can be done through software. And I'm not talking about futuristic technologies. I'm talking about technologies which are being utilized today. They help secure compliance, and they help make sure that machines don't forget like we do. So that's why we can set reminders and we can escalate as we want. Knowledge management, it means that all of this accumulated knowledge that we have is technologically stored. It is cheaper to store now. It's more accessible. We don't need to go to the archives, open documents and see, okay, that order which we made like 5 years ago for that pump, what was the name of the supplier? Now you can, if you have a good CRM and module or a good ERP system, you can go and check the system and find out that you made an order on July 2015 and it was to this supplier, and this pump cost this much. So this usually can happen in 5 minutes rather than in the old way. You go to the archives and maybe 5-year archives, you don't have it. So knowledge management is again a very important aspect. Organizational trends. Similarly, like we are changing, technology is changing, organizations are changing. The trends globally are changing. The way we deal with business, the way we live have changed a lot. And all of this has been moved by technology. So if I want to reach someone now, anyone at any time, it's much easier than it was 10, 15 years ago. Well, the mobile phones made it easier, yes. But now the smartphones even lifted it one step higher. I can send an email and have it replied to within seconds. So the organizational trends include globalization. So everyone, like in the beginning of the decade, we're talking about the world has become a one village with technology. Now we see we are beyond that. It has already happened. Now you're sitting in your homes. You can be in a different country, in a different continent. We are having this session. So globalization is something that has already happened. Interaction is across the globe. There are no boundaries using the web application. More intense economic competition. Yes, again, this is a fact. Previously, there was power of the knowledge. What did that mean? If you wanted to find out how they install something 15, 20 years ago, it was you have to go and find a catalog, ask someone how to do it. So now it's everywhere. It's accessible. And that's why you are having more and more companies and more businesses across the different fields. Economic competition is becoming more fierce, more aggressive. Increase in knowledge workers. Who are the knowledge workers? So the knowledge economy. What does it mean to have a knowledge economy? The knowledge economy is an economy. The traditional economy is a manufacturing economy or an agricultural economy. You produce physical goods, whether food or something else. You add value by that. You take a raw bauxite, you make aluminum, and then someone takes the aluminum billet and makes out of it automotive doors. Someone takes this automotive doors, add value, and manufacture cars, and then you send it to an end client. Now we are having more and more knowledge workers. What does it mean? We're having marketing agencies. We're having consultants. We are having radio, TV, whatever. So all of this is knowledge-based workers, people who are not creating physical products. Commitment to sustainable practices. We saw how IFMA and everyone in the world is now being committed to sustainable practices. Even as a human race, we have been successful to a certain point. Now the ozone layer is almost healing up. Some countries are still not up to the standards, but it has become, now you go and talk to a 5-year-old kid, he will talk to you about the environment, because it has become, it was not there 30 years ago, 40 years ago. This awareness was not there. Demography and the workplaces. The demography has changed. Now the newer generation, we have talked about this in the HR module. The newer generation has a different way of thinking than the older one. So they need more technology. They're accustomed to more technology. I gave an example, like I still prefer to read physical books. The new generation doesn't even need that. Most of them are very comfortable reading material on their iPad or something similar. The workplace, or the demography of the people has changed, and the workplace have changed. What does that mean? The workplace, we are having more hoteling. So till date, there are many people that I know that are still working from home. There is no need for them to be present. So the physical presence is becoming less needed. Someone can be in India working for a project in Qatar, and they can sit at home. Even in Qatar, we're doing more and more Skype and Zoom calls. And again, this is just an example of that. To look into so it's important for us to take all of these considerations. Technology is no longer something like a luxury. It is controlling our lives. It is part of our lives. It's an integrated part of how we operate. So that's why we need to have an understanding of the technology that we can adopt in our field, and how it affects us, and how we can adopt more technology to become more efficient in the way we do our business. Trends are, so in terms of the technology itself, the technology itself has grown. What does that mean? That means that now we are having more and more data being embedded in information systems. When the email was very common here in the beginning of the 90s, sending data was very limited, even sending photos, documents. Now with my mobile, and you have it like as part of the course, you can go and have access to gigabytes of data. So the amount of data that we can send is high. What does it mean? It means that I can send more detailed data on equipment and on my facilities. Greater interoperability among building control systems. This is again a very important thing. When building management systems became popular, there was not much compatibility between the systems. So if you have till now, okay, it's done for a different reason. Now it's done for a reason of big companies still want to maintain and control, but it has becoming more and more interoperable. There are more common interfaces now that you can even ask when you handle a system. So previously it was like if you got a Honeywell building management system, you needed to have a Honeywell gas management system, because if you buy some other brand, it will not converse with Honeywell. Now again, because there is more competition, you can have a Honeywell system that's tied up to a simplex system or whatever system that can be utilized on the other end for different systems. So there is better interoperability among the systems. Virtualization of data storage, access, and computing power. So previously, if you wanted to have an ERP system, you needed to have your own servers and you needed to manage that. Even some companies used to have their own servers for their own emails. Now everything is becoming virtualized. So virtualized is that I really don't need to invest in these kind of systems, and I really don't need to have that huge processing power. I just need a web browser. It has become that simple. I need a web browser. I'll connect to somewhere, and that somewhere will have all the servers that are needed to store my data, to retrieve my data, wherever I need them. I can access them from my phone. I can access them from my iPad. I can access them from Office, and so on. So this is again an ongoing trend. This is a fact. Access to technology. Technology has become everywhere, even on the level of individuals. Now you don't even, special example is Ihtiraz app. This app is available on everyone's phone. You really don't find someone with a basic technology literacy. So more and more people have access to technology. You go to a remote village anywhere in the world, they are connected. So access to technology is big, and that's a big jump. I'm of the age where we had to have a dial-up network. So a dial-up network means that you have to have a phone line, and it was not reliable. Not everywhere it was there. Plugged computers. Now wirelessly, I don't even need a laptop. I need a mobile with an access to a nearby network, and boom, I am up and running. Plus, the cost of technology has become way cheaper than it was. So internet data was expensive. Now it is relatively way cheaper, and it's not a hindrance for communication. Enhanced communication, so communication in all aspects. This is Zoom is an example for it. We're able to have a reliable, multifaceted way of communication. I'm sharing with you voice, video, and presentation material, and this is just like a simple application. Using technology to meet stakeholder needs. So always we have in our heart of operations the stakeholders, and a facility manager who can identify the various needs of stakeholders. Please, guys, if you have something to say, raise your hand. I'll be able to stop whenever you want. And if anyone has anything to ask, to interrupt, I have no problem. But please raise your hand from the system. I would be glad to address any question that you have. A facility manager who can identify the various needs of stakeholders, both inside and outside the organization, and use technology to address those needs in a cost-effective manner, becomes a more valuable member of the organization's strategic management team. So we are a service unit that has been established. So what's a service unit? It means that we are a unit which is servicing the organization, whether we have an internal customer or an external customer. When we are handling our own offices, our own facilities, our own hospital, our own college, our own residential building, we are catering to internal customers, and we can be catering to external customers as well, like we're managing a compound and we are providing this service to everyone outside. The relationship between FM and IT is integrated. FM needs IT and IT needs FM. FM needs IT because we saw the importance of technology, and to have a proper technology, you need to have the proper infrastructure. Proper infrastructure means having the proper network, proper internet connectivity, all of these things. So on the other hand, IT needs FM. Why? Because IT needs to have an allocation of space for the service, for the servers. It needs to have maintenance of their facilities where they keep that. It needs to have, let's say when you're having servers, you need to have a certain level of cooling and maintaining that. So the relationship between FM and IT has evolved as their individual needs have become more complex. Today, these two functions must collaborate to succeed. That requires each partner understand the needs of the other and find ways to accommodate those needs. IT needs the quality of support service it receives, its workload, its governance responsibility. FM, as we said, is a customer of IT. The increased building technology use requires IT assistance in selecting, implementing, and supporting products, creating and maintaining networks, and maintaining databases. So the relationship is a two-way relationship. Building technology, so control and integration systems. This is like a simple timeline of how building technology evolved. Building technology started in the 70s. It started earlier for sure. So when we say technology, technology doesn't mean the electronic devices. Technology it was like a mechanical technology when it was introduced. When we had horses and we shifted to vehicles, there was a mechanical technology. So technology evolves. And then we had mechanical devices, we had pneumatic devices, you had hydraulic systems. So all of these are mechanical. And then you started slowly having the integration of electrical systems and then electrical control. And then we had systems of more computerized control. Vehicles, again, are a simple example for that. So vehicles, when they started, they were purely mechanical systems. And then after that, let's say maybe around the 40s, 50s, if you go and look online, you will find the luxurious Mercedes-Benz at that time. They had even hydraulic systems to open and close the windows. After that, there was electric technology, and there was electric technology to open and close the windows. Now you have electronic technology where you can start your vehicle from your phone. So technology evolves. Similarly for buildings, so we had like a pneumatic systems, we had on and off functionality, that was it. Central supervisory systems, you had like these control panels with lighting there, which showed you what's on, what's off, and mini computer for each system. So computers were just being introduced. They were very expensive to operate. Just to give you a frame of reference, how technology has evolved, the missile that went to the moon, okay, the rocket that went to the moon in the late 60s had a computer on board. That computer on board had processing power less than a Casio watch. You know, the traditional Casio watches, the ones that you see them now with some kind of no one utilizes them much, those digital watches. So there was a rocket landed on a moon with an equivalent of something that's handheld on your hand. Now the mobile which you're holding, I don't know what it can do. It can do miracles several years back, and that's why we're having these advantages. So in the 80s, we started having digital control, multiple inputs and outputs, telephone landlines. In the 90s, greater connectivity, the internet was beginning to spread, and web browser interfaces on PCs. 2000, client-server methodologies, BAS and IT infrastructure. And so we're having an increase there. In the 2010s, we're having building information, BIM systems, wireless functionality. Wireless functionality is very important. So now the wireless networks are even sometimes more reliable than wired networks. So this has includes so IP systems, all of these smartphones, apps, SaaS, software as a service. So this is an important thing. So software as a service, we are moving now into an age, or we have already moved. Like you don't need to keep your own servers. You go and subscribe in something, and it becomes, you have an access to a virtual network, and you can shut down. And so this is an example of it, like having ERP systems. You just log in from your browser. You don't need any processing power, very minimal computer requirements. Even Google was working on a operating system, the Chrome operating system. It didn't quite reach that much, but the Chrome operating system, all it does is that the idea behind it is that you don't even need to have any software installed on it. You just need to access their office system, the Google Sheets and all of these. So the cloud computing, now we are in an age where this is still in its evolving phase, but we are going to see it happening more and more. It's like the IoT, the Internet of Things. What's the IoT? Now devices will be connected directly to the net. So the technology exists, but it's going to become more prominent. So more prominent, it means that you will have your equipment linked to a 5G network and quick interface, and there is even no lag time. They are making even medical robotics. Yeah, mechatronics is just like, yes, this is what you mentioned. This is part of the advances that have been happening for. We are even now more, the IoT, you see the 5G network, still it didn't, but the technology exists. Now you've seen what you call operating rooms, and someone who's in New York can come and do a surgery to someone in Doha, and even the lag time between the time they move their hand there and here is seamless. So yeah, the IoT is what I am mentioning. So there are building information modeling. This is an important thing where I mentioned this last time, where we start with a system throughout its lifetime. So we look at the building throughout, or a build space, which we are handling as facility management, from inception, programming, collecting requirements. So it'll be one system in which you can do everything. And usually it's done like it's a module where you can go and purchase the different modules. So you go with programming, you make a conceptual design, you make a detailed design, okay, a detailed design for it, and you can check, you can do different types of analysis, structural analysis, load analysis, wind analysis, integrity designs. So you can do it there, and then you make documentation. You can make the construction drawings even from the detailed design, and then you go to fabrication and the construction. Even the construction progress, it can be monitored through a BIM, and the construction logistics and operation and maintenance. So it's like a life cycle being controlled by one software or one system. Let's call it a system, not a software. So the BIM was heavily used in the metro project here in Doha. In the metro project, everything was linked from construction, and even when they handle it to the operation and maintenance, each equipment, each asset had already had its tags. Everything was linked there. You can go now and, for example, a pump so and so is broken. You can look at its construction history. You can look at details of the suppliers, and also everything is built in one system. Yes, Ahmad.
Excuse me, Mr. Baha, building BIM is building information modeling or building interface module.
So
And,
the definition is a building information modeling, BIM systems.
not interface. Still, I didn't understand because building BIM, what I know about it, it is done by Revit, for instance, and this is
But
in
what?
the Revit software building software.
Oh,
But
Revit is just one part of it. Revit does the construction and details of the design and analysis.
yes, that's what I know about it. But till now, I didn't understand what is the relation between the facility management and the building interface module. And what's the benefit? What is the relation? Can you explain more?
So let's say you have done, let's give an example. Autodesk have these kind of software. Autodesk have a software where they started several years ago with only AutoCAD and 2D modeling. Then we saw how 2D modeling became 3D modeling. And then we saw how 3D modeling became software such as Revit, CATIA, and many others. Fluent, for example, for thermodynamic analysis. Okay.
CFM.
Okay, and then based on the Revit, okay, let's say you have a detailed design of equipment, and you can do even virtualization of a plant. Like in the oil and gas and heavy industrial sector, we have 3D drawings of buildings already built. 3D, it means not only the building itself, even the utilities. So the utilities, it means the HVAC system, the piping, everything is done there. This is very beneficial when you want to do, let's say, a replacement of a part. Even 10, 15 years ago, we used to use it in the oil and gas. Let's say they wanted to replace a vibrational screen, okay? Before they can do that, they can do all the planning virtually, online, because, not online, virtually on the software, because on the software, all the interfaces, a very big problem in maintenance and construction adding systems is what you call it, where you have this, what do you call it?
Between two surfaces?
Huh?
Clashing between two
Clashing
surfaces?
of systems, yes. You are not, there's a different word. It will come now in the software, so in the slide. So everything is linked into one system. Yes, Yusuf, performance simulation is just part of the building information modeling. People tend to utilize it as per their needs, but now we are having the ability to link all of these systems together. So let's say you are constructing a building. You can go and have a conceptual design, and you can have a detailed design, let's say on AutoCAD 3D. And that AutoCAD 3D module, it will go seamlessly into a software such as Revit, where a detailed structural analysis can be done. Even the Revit can link to another software, let's say, which is like Tekla Steel. And then the Tekla, you will be able to generate all the parts in it. Everything is there with even the bolts and the size of the bolts. It's so much detail. And then you take this data and you add it to a full building information model, which shows all the structural components. Similarly can be done for the MEP design. So the MEP design, you can design it from A to Z. You can do flow analysis on it. And then when it's done, you finalize it, you take it into fabrication. After you take it into fabrication and installation, you can go and do as-built drawings. So rather than just going and looking at printed documents at the end of the project, you will have an as-actual model of your project done there. So if you want to do any maintenance, you want to do any upgrade, any change, you have everything there. So you can do it on a design and then come back clashes. The word is clashes, to avoid any clash of the system and of interfaces. And also you can do an asset management. Every equipment, even from the design, it has a code. So let's say the pumps have a code, and the pumps will go built into the software model, which is for the facility maintenance, and the facility maintenance can link this to a CFM system. So it's like one loop integrating everything together. This is like the integration of these systems. What is meant by cloud? Cloud, it means a storage system rather than you having, this is what I've mentioned over again, Ahmed. Rather than you having data stored with you, you can have it stored at the cloud. You utilize a cloud, The data for this course is stored on a cloud. They're not stored on your PC or my PC. Now, from your phone, you can go to your Google Drive and you access the cloud. Previously, 10 years ago, it was not that much accessible. If you wanted to have data, let's say we had to do this module, I have had to do it to give it to you on a ESP or a DVD. Now everything is easily uploaded to a cloud and accessible for everyone. And this doesn't apply only to static data, it applies to software. Software can link everything and on a cloud. Is clashing a process in any software? No, the clash of the systems. Let's say you want to install a new pump and you cannot install that pump or a new chiller system because you have had an increase in capacity and you have a space for it. But when you want to go and install it, you find that there is already a mechanical system installed there. And then the clashes can be determined early on and you can avoid it. So system clashes, it doesn't mean the software part of it. Benefits for automation. So another aspect other than building information modeling is the automation. Automation is that everything is automated. Now building management system, a BMS, everything is automated. You don't need to go and shut down so and so pump to make sure that your operation, it's not an on and off system. It's a system which even you can put a performance curve that you want based on your occupancy. So if you have an occupancy level, so let's say, how does a building management system work in terms of, let's say, the cooling load? So previously it was an on-off system. It means that you have chillers, you come at 8 o'clock, you start it, okay, and then you run it till 5 p.m., just to give an example, and you shut it down. So it will go like this. Now a building, and you have a lot of wastage here. Why? Because the usage profile, let's say, of any facility, let's say an airport, okay, the usage profile of an airport, let's take a more, let's say a school, okay, a school or a mall or an office building. So usually there will be like in the morning, very few people, let's say 7 a.m., very few people will come. And then you have the peak here. And some salespeople will not even there. So it will change. And then at lunch, it will go down. Many people will go out. Then they return from lunch. Then they come back and maybe they have some visitors. Then they continue like this and go down. So rather than having an on and off, and let's say here you're utilizing at the highest capacity of your system, and because it's an on and off system, here with the building management system, you can trace using your operation, you can trace the usage profile, okay? And that way you will save lots of power, you will save lots of energy. So this is a very important aspect of it. Automation increases the productivity of facility management staff. You don't need to have someone to go and shut down this pump, shut down this gas system, shut down this fire alarm system. Everything can be done automatically. You don't need to go and press a button. Everything can be managed remotely. So operational costs will definitely be reduced. Accountability and transparency. Building management systems now will tell you, like last time, how we see how accountability and transparency, even with the client. On one project, we had a pipe burst, okay? When the pipe burst, the incident, the pressure dropped in that pipeline, it was monitored in a building management system. There was an alarm sent to our team. The team went and reported to the site and shut down the system manually regarding the broken valve. The response time was less than 10 minutes. So when the client came and said what happened because there was water damage, we were able to show that this is the time which we got on the system. This is the time which we took action from. So this helps in transparency and accountability, and integrating processes and data from, whereas if it was like a manual system, yeah, all Yusuf, all applications, signal, alarm, and faults. Yes, and you have an escalation chart usually, and you in all systems, like I used to do gas systems, let's say, and if there's a problem in a gas system, we can automate it to an extent that I've done it before, that our maintenance team, because it was a critical system, and that they will get a message. So when they get a message, wherever they are, we're able to deploy people much faster, rather than having the client come and report, okay, we have a shutdown in gas, and we need to repair the system. And then our people will go there. And so it was a case of a client actually in Qatar, where there was in the gas system, they were complaining. There are like 13, 14 restaurants, and the gas system is far away. So when they used to have a problem in the gas system, they were only able to know when the gas on the cooking on the restaurants was shut down. And then they will go and report to the gas team, and then the gas team will send an emergency. So there was a gap of reply. How did we solve it? We installed sensors on the outlet of the system early on the outlet of the system. So at that time, there was a problem in the design of the gas system. Usually there is redundancy, but we were maintaining that system, so we didn't design it. So how we solved it is that we installed pressure sensors on the outlet of the gas systems, and way upstream the operation. So if there was a problem in the pressure sensor, immediately there was a message sent to the maintenance team. And by the time the maintenance team reached the system, there would still be gas in the system, and there was absolutely no interruption to the clients. So it was a simple system. It maybe cost me 5, 6, 7 delta P. Yes, of course, you can see the delta P of your operations even now instantaneously. You don't even need to calculate it or just collect from the system. Some warnings about accountability, integrated process from various sources. We saw how like a building management system can link the gas system, fire alarm system, can link the access control and security system. Everything can be automated. Let's say in the case of a fire, you can even give an order to open all the doors, or whatever you want. Or in case of higher CO, the CO system in the parking lot, in case of goes below this, it can operate the exhaust fans, and it can send a fault alarm to the building management system. You can even program it to inform the civil defense. Lots of integration, as much as your imagination and needs need that. And these are, as I said, are existing technologies. They're not something from the future. They are utilized in modern facilities everywhere in the world. Creating additional efficiencies. Of course, a good system will require less manpower saving in costs. Intelligent systems make FM organizations more intelligent. There are people who are still running our management FM systems without having a CFM. Other organizations will have handheld devices, which they will, when there's an order, they will just get it on their system. So the system will become, the FM organization itself will become much, much, much more responsive. I don't need to have a client complain. Sometimes the process is even shut down. The client can go and report a fault. It will go to a central system. It will go automatically appointed to so-and-so person. And the response time will become seamless. Warnings. Again, technology is like a sword. The way you can use it or like a knife. You can use it to cut bread, or you can use it to go kill someone. Your tool is as good as the way you design it based on your needs and understanding, okay? And you need to have systems usually are as smart as what you feed them. So let's say you want to analyze what's the maintenance data for a system and the historical thing. If you feed it bad data, you will get a bad analysis. So automated processes depend on a large amount of accurate data. Processes that are flowed so that are flawed to begin with will only be performed more quickly and easily with automated tools. Same poor outcomes, but with the higher cost of the technology investment. This is what I mentioned, like when you have a system, even an HR system, and there is no real understanding from the IT team. They go and purchase a software and maybe they don't implement what's exactly needed. So that ends up with a stupid system. We had it once where we had a CRM system and it was not properly designed initially at the initial stage. So it became like hell. It was a sales force system for sales. So rather than automating the process, the what you call the salespeople ended up spending half their time filling data because the data needed was made so detailed that of course ensured better visibility, but it really was counterproductive. So what we did is that after the initial release, we went and sat down with the people who are handling the technology and told them, look, we need this data. We don't need to have the rest of the data. And once we've done that, yes, it started giving its intended use. The needs of technology and organizations must be considered. There is an issue of legacy systems must be faced. So when you go to a new building, or an old building, a building which was built 20, 30 years ago, even 40, 50 years ago, and you want to automate it, maybe they didn't have a lighting control system at that time. The lifts were not linked to the system. So how you handle these kind of systems is important. Maybe it will be too expensive for you to replace them, or some of them is that there are some retrofit kits which you can go and install on existing equipment, and you can make it smarter at a reasonably priced option. Facility management thinks about the resources beyond those required for acquisition. Of course, we're talking about the life cycle costing. For the life cycle costing, okay, if I'm going to deploy this software, maybe it's going to need specialized people, which I don't have. So I have to account for their salary and their time. Maybe I need to buy licenses annually, and this is what's happening in many software. So I need to account that into my costing. It's not only about the acquiring of the resources. It's about, or let's say I buy a chiller system, and then previously I used to be able to run it. Once I own it, the operation will be mine. Maybe now I need to have access to data, and that data I have to pay a fee for the manufacturer to be able to access it on an annual basis. So I've talked a lot about building automation systems. Building automation systems are what we know as a building management system. Building automation system is an integrated automated system that controls. Okay, it controls and monitors. So it does control. It shut down systems, open systems. Okay, that controls several aspects of building operations, such as the HVAC. This is a very common utilization. Lighting systems, energy systems, your power generation, your energy utilization. You can shut down an area. You can link even your water supply system, elevators, fire suppression, and security. Building automation systems are known by a variety of names and acronyms. They include the Building Automation and Control System, BACS, or a BMS, Building Management System, as more commonly known here. The building automation system can provide real-time status information from every system component. So real-time, like I had a pipe burst, real-time I got it in my system. Monitor energy consumption and apply controls to reduce waste. Issue alarms. Of course, we're all familiar. There's a fire alarm. The fire alarm is linked to the BMS. The BMS will inform, or there's a gas system shut down, or let's say there's a security breach. You can have a system linked to your building management system when there's a security breach. And now these things are becoming even exponentially more reliant on technology. I have a friend of mine who was working on a system where he promises that using AI, you can reduce the need of security, physical security in your premises. because the AI is able to recognize behavior, hostile behavior, is able to recognize when two people are fighting, is able to recognize when someone is throwing trash on the ground, all of these systems. And then rather than deploying 10, 15 people in one area monitoring the system, you deploy, let's say 5, and they will have devices and will get a notification in so and so area there's a problem. Go and tackle it. Even technology can be smarter than us. You can put an infrared camera. Security will not be able to see that. So a building management system provides real-time status and issue alarms, sequence equipment for greater efficiency. So this is what I talked about regarding the HVAC system. Rather than it's like the acceleration of your car. This is what a building management system does. This is like the badly drawn thing I put here, is that, you know, like equipment will have so sequencing it. So rather than I go with full load, let's say I have 7, 8 chillers. Yes, on demand and building management system, you can pre-program it. What does that mean? It means that, let's say I know I will have a maximum need for HVAC at 10 a.m. Okay, if I go and traditional system, and actually building management systems are rated according to their ability to track the user profile or the need and demand data. So I have an airport. I know that at 10 a.m. I need to have this much cooling capacity. So rather than I wait and let's say I'm running at this level and then I go and increase it abruptly, let's say if I'm managing it manually, what I can do is that in the building management system, what it does is that for it to reach this point, okay, it grows gradually. I can go and start chiller 1, chiller 2, chiller 3. So similar, what that means is that when you want that to accelerate in your vehicle, just to relate it to you, you want to reach 120 kilometers per hour. If you're driving at 60, if you want to reach 120 kilometers per hour when you reach a certain area, if you start accelerating slowly, the efficiency of your fuel consumption will be much better. Rather than if you wait till you're running at 60 and then just like a few meters before you reach that 120, you go and give it the flat pedal and then you will reach there, of course, but the energy efficiency will be way less than in the other way. So it's able to also schedule operations such as HVAC and lighting as per occupancy, implement complex processes such as demand control ventilation. Can measure the CO2 system and then at that level increase more fans. So based on real-time actual demand. Manage wear and tear on system components through duty cycling. I have 5 chillers, duty cycling. So the BMS system will monitor how much historically each one is running and will make sure that we don't, for example, overload chiller 1. The chiller 1 will have 1,000 hours of operation and chiller 2 will have 50. No, the system, what it does is that it always makes sure that the sequencing is done right so that you manage the wear and tear. Trend analyze data to support planning maintenance. We see in the predictive maintenance, we're able to chart. We know that on so and so load, this equipment is failing, so we can create a preventive plan. Another definition of a building management system is a high technology system installed on buildings that controls and monitors the building mechanical and electrical equipment, such as the air handling, cooling plant systems, lighting, power, fire, and security. So a BMS consists of a software and a hardware, okay? That's why the control. You cannot control equipment. So it has electromechanical equipment, and like you have valves which are linked to a system. You have pressure gauges which are linked to a system. So you have different modes of protocols. So this is the protocol. This is when we talked about interoperability that was not there. there are now protocols. So let's say when I give the gas system, when we used to have like gas panels, we used to request them to have a certain mode of compatibility with other systems so that they can talk to each other, such as C-bus, Profibus, etc. So new vendors are producing BMS that integrate using internet protocols. So even now the protocol can be through IP. The data will be through IP. And open standards like all of these systems. So it facilitates, the system facilitates interaction, and the systems can, so the compatibility will be much better. An energy management system, so for technology, let me see on which slide we are now. Okay, let's take a 10 minutes break, please. So now we are at 8:12. Let's be back at 8:22. Okay, or 23. Okay, see you then.
Ready already? speaker on.
Yeah, we're back. You can copy, you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, so we continue. What's an energy management system or an energy management control system is a specialized function of the building automation system. And as the name says, it's a part of the BMS where it's the control of the power consumption. And although the EMS started with a focus on electrical power, so EMS are now designed to track the use of multiple forms of energy: electrical, natural gas, fuel, oil, as well as water. So when you manage, and you can see how the full energy spectrum is managed. We're managing the HVAC and the use of the system. We're managing the electrical load on the different equipment. We're managing the water. We're managing the gas. So it's amazing that the degree of automation where we can reach. The systems monitor, use, analyze, and provide alarms, reports, and in some cases, manage demand. So what does that mean is that we can, at a certain point, shut down systems as needed or shift systems operation. Energy analytics, energy analysis software allows facility managers to track and analyze by the whole facility specific areas or specific systems or equipment by installing sub-meters and smart meters. So we can see how the visibility is improved by the use of technology, but also we can see is that you need mechanical or physical parts and you need a software. So if you want to monitor the utilization of water, let's say, by different building units, you need to install sub-meters. So sub-meters by area. That can help you in many aspects, can help you detect small leaks which will not show on your system, can help you by monitoring the data, the water consumption, and so on. Demand management, when electrical, so remember, like some countries will have this graded electrical demand system where they charge you in Qatar, it's like that. In Qatar, for villas, let's say, if you go beyond a certain load, your rates will be higher. So when electrical demand surpasses a preset kilowatt or hour level, the facility incurs, or it can be time-based. So the facility incurs an additional charge per kilowatt for the peak demand. The level and charge may vary according to the time of the day and so on. To manage energy costs, a facility needs to be able to manage the timing and level of demand. EMS controls by aligning the facility electricity use with whatever profile you have from the energy provider. You can issue alarms or you can shut down systems. So this is like a system. So now we go into the integrated workplace management system, or the IWMS. ERP systems are now linked in the bigger organizations to accounting, to HR, to the different project management software. An IWMS is an enterprise level software platform that facilitates integration of data to create certain functionalities in the areas of project management. So we were talking previously about all of these softwares that can be done to manage real estate, to manage maintenance, manage projects, manage sustainability. All of these are or can be integrated under an IWMS. So you can manage the space, the occupancy level, what's vacant, what's not, what to put here, what to put there, maintenance management, okay, and the project management, the real estate management, and the sustainability management. So technologies such as IWMS and the CFM focused on facility responsibilities other than operating and maintaining core building systems. So the role of the software has become much wider. So it's not only about just managing the workflow. We're managing the workflow, we're managing the space, we're managing the projects, let's say, to upgrade the project, everything under one umbrella. There are, yes, Sheikh.
Yeah, this CAFM and the CMMS both are same.
Sometimes the CAFM has a wider scope than just the pure. So this is CMMS, more specific. So computerized maintenance management system. A CAFM software, it includes computer-aided facility maintenance. So it includes a bigger scope usually than the CMMS. This is the difference between the two.
Okay.
So the benefits of having an integrated workplace management system, same like we've mentioned them again, transparency. So we can see how well FM is performing on the entire ranging of strategic goals, the financial, operational, and sustainable goals. We have a visibility of the full range of responsibilities as a facility manager. Control. FM can account for its assets, their use, and their ROI. And the organization can analyze its vulnerability to various risks more accurately and manage more outside relationships. So we have a view of what are we subcontracting, what are the risks. Agility. Data can support faster and better decisions. The more data that you have, if you're measuring the right amount of data, the more visibility of your systems. So if you're having managing facilities for Procter & Gamble, and they have tens of, not hundreds of factories across the globe, facilities and wherever, and they are all interlinked into one system, your visibility will be much better. Your ability to take a decision is higher. The IWMS can be tailored to organizations of different sizes and business types, including global. So if you can go now to software, these kind of services for computerized maintenance that are web-based, which are cheaper than you having to install your server and having it dedicated. If you're a smaller organization, you can pick an off-the-shelf system with not having so much tailored experience. It'll be cheaper. Compliance. So we mentioned this compliance is that we can include in our integrated workplace management system compliance with the financial requirements, with the government regulations. Let's say a facility requires that every year you go and re-register you regarding the bills, let's say, with the authority, controlling authority. Quality improvement tools. The first thing that you do when you design an automated system, whether it's a CFM system or whether it is ERP system or whether it is any kind of automated system, usually you have to map the processes. So when you map the processes, it means that, okay, for me to get an approval on procurement, I need to have the user issue it, the supervisor approving it, it should go to his manager, then it should go to accounts. So when I map the process, before I implement the software, I have to map the process. And when I map the process, I'm able to see gaps. I'm able to see redundancies. I'm able to see where where my resources are being wasted. So this again has a quality improvement aspect. The real estate management is an integrated or can be an integrated part of an IWMS. On a tactical level, the IWMS manages property-related documents. So these are the property-related documents which I mentioned. Missing documentation at the time of property sales can directly. So if I'm managing hundreds of facilities and I know that the tenant lease is ending on so and so date, I'm able to have an early on rather than doing it manually. So you can track the agreement details. You can communicate the details to FM and other parties, easily take it from a system. We support reporting for tax and other compliance purposes. The IWMS space utilization applications help FM manage space and its associated costs better by using facility and ERP data. So ERP data is that, let's say I'm able to have several facilities. I know that the maintenance data here is high for that building because it's linked to an ERP data. It's linked to the accounting software of the organization. So I know that this building in particular costs me more. So maybe I ditch it. Maybe I don't renew it on the contract because the operational cost per square meter or per individual is high. So it enables us to analyze the use of space and assets throughout the organizations, aligns pattern of use with the organizational strategic goals, and plan for future needs. Sustainability management, it's like when we are controlling the power, when we're controlling the water, when we are measuring and monitoring this, we are actively doing sustainability management. So an environmental management application in an IWMS. So usually these IWMS are sold as a package, and you can go and have, sometimes they sell it that you have access for these modules. If you want to add, you have to pay for it, or sometimes you have given full access, different packages. And this is again an advantage of having modularity. You don't need to invest in the whole system. Previously, it was not like that. It was like more robust and difficult to manage. So you are able to create, you needed to install it on separate computers, and you needed to have these computers interlinked to a LAN network. Now even that's not needed. You just need to have a web browser, and you can utilize it anywhere. Nothing even, many of them have where you don't even have a data stored, physical data stored on your PC. So we can create and track performance towards objectives for sustainable facility management. We are able to support management of sustainable projects such as commissioning, ergonomics improvement, asbestos remediation, and so on. We're able to capture and report data to measure sustainable performance. So the first level, let's say, when we mentioned regarding the energy optimization, if I have an automated system which is already managing it, I'm able to know if I am on track in terms of operating my facility. Are my facilities efficient enough or no? Where are the areas where I can introduce improvements? The building information modeling, the BIM, the model must be understood from two perspectives: as a 3D representation of a structure and as a representation of a logical system with certain principles and processes, how the components behave. A model makes it possible to detect potential for flaws and performance. So this is like a different view of what I showed earlier. It goes with programming, conceptual design, detailed analysis, documentation, and all of the model is monitored and controlled as we move on. So the changes of the, let's say during, after operation, I decided to add one room, a guard room, or I decided to add a new shop or whatever. So I go and model it on the system real time, and I will have an updated information. The advantages of the BIM, it has an improved accuracy of shared information among all team members, which decreases the chances of misunderstanding, rapid quantification to support calculation of cost estimates, robust analytics to keep the project aligned with its energy performance and goals, clash detection. So this is what I mentioned, clash detection. And clash detection is a very big thing when you are designing system, because usually systems are designed by different engineers, and then in the end they go and clashes. And sometimes even they are designed very well on paper. When you don't have 3D modeling, you go and try to implement it. So it goes with the principle of planning. The better you do planning ahead of time, the less problems you're going to have during execution. Of course, it takes more investment upstage, but that can be offset during the construction, and that's why companies utilize it. Again, companies don't go and install something if they don't have a long-term vision for it that is going to save them. Improved project delivery with clear and accurate documentation for the entire project, and this will facilitate even the building commissioning. Building imaging technology. So the 3D imaging is a system in which beams of light. So let's say you have an existing building. You can do a building imaging technology. So now it's used even for marketing and making virtual showrooms. Someone will go to your showroom, you have an automotive showroom, they will go with a device. Or let's say you are having, I've seen it even in Qatar now, you are having renting out facilities, you can go virtually have a walk around. Okay, so a 3D imaging system is a system in which beams of light are rapidly reflected of specific service. A scanner captures measurements and plots the results to create a 3D representation of the object. Because the light cannot pass through solid objects, 3D systems, it can be used for making as-builts, yes. Scanning the surface from different angles. So certain areas are not able to reach by the light because it's using light signal. So you need to install, to move the system to different areas of the cameras. So the distance between the projections and the objects can range from 1 meter to 1 kilometer. So that technology is amazing. And these are examples on the right of certain systems that are utilized. Thermal scanning. Thermal scanning is, or thermography, is a technology that uses a special camera that converts transmission heat in the area being photographed into electrical impulses. And these impulses are then color-coded by intensity. They are often used to inspect and perform maintenance on electrical systems. So we are able, as you see in the photos, we are able to look at the electrical, the plumbing system, and to monitor the heat map of the system. It can be used also for managing what we call the energy leaks. So we look at the building and we see where we have leaks in the energy, and that way when we go and tackle those leaks, we are able to saving. Non-destructive testing, which one you utilize for non-destructive testing? Non-destructive testing, no, it's a different story. If you're talking about something regarding, it's used for visualization. I cannot see how it can be used for non-destructive testing. NDT, you utilize things such as X-rays, so thermal. I don't know of the applications of that, frankly, Yusuf. But in the concept of facility maintenance, is that we can use it to visualize the system and see areas where maybe non-destructive testing, maybe if we look at a system and can see cracks in it, let's say a hot water system. Geospatial information systems, or GIS system, is an intelligent graphic tool that maps data on a geospatial grid and enable analysis of this data for various purposes. Qatar has a GIS system where when you submit your project, you load it, and they get the coordinates and they link it to their overall view. That's why if you look at their maps, they can be very much detailed. The data is of three types: vector data, raster data, and attribute data. GIS can be sized on a multiple levels from a global perspective to a floor view. So GIS data is where you can have a visual view of a floor plan or of a factory or whatever, and then you can have data related to it. So you can link even data such as the energy consumption data per building, the number of occupants, and all of this information. GIS can be sized on multiple tools. So on a global scale, the organization can locate its various facilities on a map. So simply, let's say I have 10, 15 facilities, I can locate them on a map and simply visualize differences in the key performance indicators. Yes, Ahmed.
Excuse me, I don't understand what's meant by the type of this data. Vector data, raster data, attribute data. Can you explain more?
So the vector data is the 2D imaging data. So this is vector data. The raster data, I will just slip off my mind. Attribute data is there where you store information regarding what are the attributes. So you can install, like in this building, the consumption is this much per square meter. Raster data is, is the images. So vector data is a digital information about the sizes and relationships between points, lines, and shapes. Vector data is one sees in a two-dimensional CAD drawing. Okay, raster data are images such as aerial photographies of a facility. So you can have the vector data, which is the drawing, and then you can have a satellite image of that building. So this is the raster data. The attribute data is any other data that you want to put in it, such as the consumption, such as the even the cost of the rent and things like that. So these are the three types of data. On a local level, an organization can use GIS to analyze a proposed location in terms of proximity to largest customers, critical suppliers. So whatever data that you want to put there, you can put there. On a campus level or building can show how space and energy is being used and how certain functions are distributed. So the way you utilize the data is limitless. Automatic identification and data capture. Barcodes. So automatic identification and data capture refers to a group of technologies that automate the collection of information from various sources. The group includes technologies such as magnetic stripe used on credit card or access cards, smart cards that are embedded with microchips, and various biometric identification tools such as fingerprint recognition, iris scanning. So the automatic data and identification and data capture, you can enter a building and you are having a card, you go and swipe it. You can enter a building and you have a more smarter card which has a microchip, which even you can, without going through this, a simple technology that you can relate to is what's used in the stores to prevent theft in retail stores. So they use this kind of data to make sure that, so they use these chips which are attached to the clothes and then it'll give an alarm, or they can use the barcodes to generate the information regarding the pricing. A barcode is a graphic representation of data that confirms information about the object in which it's attached. Barcodes are in IFMA application. We can use them for asset and inventory management. Many organizations use that, like you go into their office, you find the desks have a barcode, the different equipment have a barcode, the pumps have a barcode. Because why? Because barcodes are cheap. They are very cheap. So it's a sticker basically. They can be used for move management and for access control. The RFID, which is the radio frequency identification, is an automatic system that uses radio waves to locate both animate and inanimate objects. So it includes tags such as found on ID badges or cards. So you can have a tag on your head, on your head, on your neck, and then when you enter a building, you can link it to the access control system for it to automatically open. Readers, servers with software applications, and enterprise platform with dedicated barcodes. So if you want to, you can have the asset management based on RFIDs. The RFID usually it's more expensive. So what you have, again, when you buy the clothes, you see that chip there. It stores more information. A barcode doesn't store information. A barcode needs a visual sight for you to measure. Whereas an RFID device, you can go and put it in a room at a certain range. You will be able to know what's missing within seconds of pulling the trigger, like this example in the picture. Tags are generally more robust than barcodes. Readability, barcode readers require direct line of sight. Programmability, barcodes cannot be reprogrammed. The chip can be the RFID chip. Economy, barcodes cost way less than tags, but now with the advance of technology, they're becoming cheaper. But the barcode, what do I mean by move management is that, let's say part of our move is that, let's say I want to move from place A to place B. I can go and tag the systems, tag it. Desk so and so, desk so and so should go to this area. This is what they mean by move management. Communication technology, facility voice and data communication. The ways in which a facility manager can support the organization's communication needs have changed considerably. The major forces of change have been integration of separate voice, video, and data networks. Now the devices, we moved from lines, telephone lines separate, and a separate data network. Now we see that we have IP telephony, so it's linked even to the data network. And I think the next step is to have, which is already existing, having all of them even integrated into the video thing. So now you have meeting rooms where everything is interlinked to one network. Improvement of bit rates and capacities. Of course, this has been a major breakthrough. Previously, you couldn't have a clear communication like we're having now due to limitations in the data capacity across the network. We're having fiber optics now. We're having very high speed 5G networks. Standardization of protocols and wireless technologies. So the wireless technologies across devices, you don't even need to, this was not an option, not a commercially sound option 10 years ago. For sure it wasn't. Wireless technology has become, everything is linked wirelessly now. So the evolution went from twisted pairs and modems to integrated surface, digital networks, broadband, internet, and wireless technology. ICT systems. So what's an ICT? ICT refers to technologies that provide access. Ahmed, I really don't know the technicalities of it. Yes, but protocols for network like BACnet, for instance. Yes, this kind of protocols of communication. An ICT system refers to technologies that provide access to information through telecommunications. It's similar to IT, but focuses on communication technologies. So this includes the internet, wireless networks, cell phones, and other communication mediums. An ICT system is a setup consisting of hardware, software, data, and the people who use them. So the hardware, software, and the data and people. Computers are the hardware that's often the part of an ICT system. So the term ICT is generally accepted to mean all the technologies that combined allow people and organizations to interact digitally. Managing ICT systems. IFMA must plan for the physical needs of new technology. The additional space required. So we talked initially how the FM and IT are interlinked. You cannot install a system unless you have access through facility management. They need to come and see where they can put their cables, where they can put their devices, and how does that affect the existing facility. So FM must plan for the physical needs of new technology. That's why when we're shifting to a new office, you may have to make sure that the IT and FM integrate and see where to provide what. You need offices here, you need data here, you need offices there. What are your needs? Okay, so the additional space required for LAN rooms and server rooms, infrastructure components to support those spaces, such as additional cooling and ventilation, storage, specialized cabling. What do you need for you to run your IT systems? Business continuity issues such as backup generators and uninterruptible power supply. So all of this is provided by the facility manager. Assessing communication needs. A simple needs assessment can help. So this is part of programming. So yeah, the local area network is part of what are needed, Oliver. And the design of this network is how we handle it. A simple needs assessment can help a facility manager create a more productive alignment of facility communication technology with organizational process and practices. It will allow occupants to, so for you to provide the right system, you need to do some kind of programming, as we see, maintaining requirements. So what are the needs? Are there how do you use the communication network? Which area? Maybe, okay, when they go to the cafeteria, they need a high storage because they are going and utilizing their laptops there. So we need to increase the capacity. Determine the level of mobility in the workplace and how that affects communication. Do we need to have separate systems and hard fixed spots, or everyone is having their laptop and they need to have access everywhere? Gather data about the organization's use of space and identify special needs. So a facility can be optimized for communication technology, depending on your organization, the growing needs of the organization, what kind of business that you have, how frequently you need to have changes. Taking advantage of the latest communication technology will enhance a building's value. Yeah, of course, that's a very important aspect. If you go and you want to rent in a building where it's a state-of-the-art technology, everything is being upgraded. You don't need to install separate communication networks. It's linked through a fiber optic network. It increases the building value because it's a critical aspect of any business. So that will also support occupant and organizational productivity. The technology upgrades can be an opportunity to integrate building controls with the communication system. So for existing buildings, this can be, when you are starting to digitize the building, all of this can be done under one umbrella. An optimized design converges voice data and video into a single fiber optical vertical feed to each floor. So even it's being utilized here by the civil defense. You find even elevators are requested now to be communicated through a certain protocol and of utilization of fiber optics. Rather than locating all connections in a single closet, the design calls for module network organized into zones. So now, because of the changing needs of IT, facility installs access areas where you can go and change it with better ease. For example, you can have raised floors which allow that more easily, rather than you go and, let's say, drill the walls and install a system and then you find out that you need to do it. Ceiling mounted wireless access points can also be copper wired into a network component to improve reception. The space required for closet is greatly reduced. There's less space now for digital data, for hardware, because hardware is being reduced and hardware is being shifted to a cloud where someone will have it. Fiber optic, of course, has been like a revolution. Internet cables are running across oceans with fiber optic because the amount of data that you can carry is even faster than satellite communication. It's very fast, very efficient, very reliable. Wireless networks, while wireless networks still lag a little bit behind the wired networks, such as a fiber optic network, but they have greatly way, and in an exponential way, have become much more reliable than lower wireless networks. It's a little bit with a less reliability, but again, the overall reliability of wireless networks have grown. All of the course, I bet all of you don't have a wired network now while you're linked to your systems, because wireless networks will have been provided. This was not the case previously. We had Wi-Fi, but for us to have a proper stream of data, we needed to plug into by wire to the modem. Integration. So wireless networks have a lot of benefits. Of course, the number one is the mobility. And even it allows you to make less changes. So now if you want to install an access control system, rather than having a wired network and you paying more for it, you can go and install a wireless system. In the example which I told you about the gas system, where there was a pressure sensors that gave signals, again, I shortcut the process. Even the network switches were connected wirelessly to the data panel. So there was a data panel, there was no wires, it was linked wirelessly, and that data panel or a control panel sent the messages. Wireless networks have provided the ability to integrate smartphones into work processes. Many FM companies now have, as we said, devices, iPads linked to the operation and maintenance. Enhanced value and appeal to tenants, decreased use of cabling, networking of hard to reach areas. So if you have a hard to reach area where the cable will cost you a lot and you're not having a route and it will look ugly, you can, in a restaurant, let's say, you can go and install a wireless device. And it definitely is a faster setup for new occupants. Enhanced productivity. You can take your laptop anywhere and you can still be connected. Support technology and innovation. So supporting workplace innovation. Technology and effective space. Meeting spaces must be varied in size and level of technology. Rooms must be equipped with technology appropriate to the space's purpose. The room should physically support the technology being deployed there. The COVID-19 situation was a perfect example of the need of technology. You started, the ministries are convening here wirelessly. They are doing GCC level meetings now wirelessly, and if you have a look at the photos of the meeting rooms that they are having, they are built with state-of-the-art audiovisual systems which allow ease of interaction. They don't need to open their laptop. There's a big screen there with connectivity, and software that allows them to share data as needed. Examples of FM technology can make remote workers' life easier. Again, the workplace mobility, we are talking about hoteling, we're talking about working from home. We talked about meeting rooms can be reserved online. The Qatar National Library, as an example, can do that. Many of the serviced offices in Qatar, you can go now, log in line to the system, pay a few hundred riyals and book a meeting room for tomorrow morning. All hot desks could be equipped with docking and recharging station. So you can have a hot desk and everyone is having the same laptop. There will be like the docking station. You go and just put your laptop there and you are connected. Cafeteria Wi-Fi can make lunch more productive. Logging into a kiosks can let the worker check in and learn where the office is located. So technology is and has made our lives better. Successful technology projects do share common characteristics. So when you are adopting and implementing any project, you need to start with the stakeholders. Stakeholders, we identified the key stakeholders and the secondary stakeholders. For you to succeed in any project, you have to make sure that, and here we talked about successful technology projects. So for you to have a success, you need to make sure that the stakeholder buy-in is ensured. I gave the examples for you installing a CFM system, and you need to understand what the people on the ground are needing or what you, as a facility manager, is needed. You cannot have it dictated by IT. So you are a stakeholder to that project, and for the project to be successful, you as a stakeholder should be pleased with the result. The project is aligned to organizational needs. When the project is aligned to the organizational needs, it will be successful. Let's say the organizational needs are for better control or a move globally for sustainability practices. A successful project will be that aligns that. Realistic assessment of requirements. Again, we collect the requirements, and based on that, we devise what's required. Change management. The project team communicates effectively. So here we're talking about projects again. A successful project in general is a project in which change is managed properly, and there's good communications, there's proper planning, and projects are analyzed and corrected. The schedule and budget are managed. We covered all of this separately, where we covered the different areas of the project management body of knowledge, the PM book. We saw how the scope, cost, stakeholders, budget, and integration, quality, all of those need to be managed for you to have a successful project. The implementation strategy is well planned and executed. And then after the project is completed, training needs are identified and assessed. We installed a very smart building management system. If we need to run it efficiently, we need to make sure that the operators are aware of it, are trained to it, and are able to understand how to make the maximum use out of it. And the right metrics are chosen and used. Technology optimization process is a way of ensuring optimization that new facility technology is implemented smoothly and to the satisfaction of all process of all involved. It starts by identifying the stakeholder needs. So optimization of the technology utilization, we go and like all the things that we have been seeing, even when we are designing offices, first you have to go and assess the needs, programming. So this is again part of project management. You go and check what they need. So you identify the stakeholder needs. Then you develop a strategic technology plan. You analyze the processes, and based on which you select the technology. So the process itself, we talked about process mapping. So I want to install a proper um, CFM system, I need to understand, or an ERP or an IWMS, I need to understand what is needed and how the process goes, what's the flow in this organization, who approves what, and so on. Implement selection, and after we select the technology, we go and implement the selection. We selected so and so software, we go and implement it, we customize it, we do it, and then we manage the technology. We manage the technology. Is it being utilized properly? What kind of upgrade needs it needs? What kind of adding modules, removing modules? We manage that. Then we measure output. We go and talk to the people. We see where they are, what do they still need, and integration of the technology. Yes, Ammar.
Yes. So regarding this technology optimization process, it should be like under information technology or under IT scope, right?
No.
Because this one who will identify the needs, who will develop the strategies, technology, who will analyze the process. So all this process should be under IT scope.
Yeah, but you need to understand them as a facility manager. You are a primary stakeholder. You need to understand what's needed. And we have been talking throughout the module about the link between FM and IT.
Yes.
You cannot, what happens in organizations, and I've seen it fail, IT will go and select what they think that you need, okay, and you tell them I need a CFM system. They go and come with a system, if it's not, which they go maybe for even the best software in the world, and then they come and implement it not in the way that you need, not in the way that your requirements. Maybe you don't need that software. Maybe you need a different thing. So that's why you are being informed about this, about the process, and you are an integrated part of it. You are a part of identifying the stakeholder needs. Who said that IT will not know as much about your facility management and your processes as you do?
Okay. Okay.
All right. The PDCA cycle, we talked about it in project planning. It's being repeated again. So in the plan phase, we plan, then we do. In the do phase, we execute. We check as we identify issues and possible improvements, and then we act. So there is like a needs for training, needs for us to modify, and maintaining the technology moving forward. Again, a straight forward project management model. So that was it for today. And if you don't have any questions, we will go into answering the questions. So which of the following would be a good example of virtualization?
Charlie?
Which of the following would be a good example for visualization?
Which one?
Do not open the mic one.
I'm not able to hear. There is a robotic voice.
A.
Actually, so virtualization per definition is bravo. Talal, you got it right. So it's purchasing an automated system such as SaaS. So virtualization means is that creating a reality that's not there, and it means that rather than you owning the software of or the server, you go for a software as a service, a SaaS system. Again, like I always told you, so this is software as a service, a SaaS system. This is what it means. So this is a new model where, as I said, you don't need to store the items online. That on your unit is that you store all of these items online and you have access to them. Again, definitions are all provided in details in the books, and even the explanation of the answers are all provided there. I really recommend you, if you want to pursue this and get the certification, of course, and of course you have to go throughout the book. an IP, Internet Protocol, is best described as a?
Bravo.
True. Straightforward. Freud, the FM book is in the package that it's a package in the what you call the drive. So you have to ask the administration for it. I don't know if you have access so far, but the rest will have access for sure, and they already have the books. See the proprietary tool is the one which is wrong. Proprietary means is that it's limited to a certain brand or something. It's not. It's an open standard. Yes, you have to ask Texas Freud. An open standard used in online communications. So this is what's the IP. What has been one of the greatest challenges of the adoption of integrated automated facility technology? Yes, this is the proprietary technology that has been
Technology.
which component in a building automation system architecture manages communication between the user and
Sensor.
which one? It manages the communication between the user and
Controller.
Sensor.
huh? It's not the computer.
Sensor.
It is the supervisory network which manages and the architecture, the communication between the user. The user is here, and the devices are there. So which manages the communication between them? We need to have a supervisory network. Please, guys, I'm having a lot of noise, background noise. So if there's noise around you, please mute your mic. A facility manager would like to be able to access BAS in each building, wherever they are. So they're looking for a mobile system. What feature in a BAS would enable this action?
Browser.
A browser.
Use of web browser.
You can have a use of an IP, but you're not able to access it. So you need a web browser to access it. Which of the following best describes the building automation system?
D.
What?
D, sir.
Bravo.
D.
Dog.
Delta.
Delta, sir.
Yeah, no, because this is what's the wrong thing. Usually there are answers, usually they trick. Just a minute, guys. There are answers which usually seem to be correct, and then they put a word which is out of line. A building automation system doesn't include space utilization. So similarly in the previous question, just a minute, please. I'm trying to explain to you an important concept. So be careful for answers which have a word which is wrong. That will nullify the answer. Although a system that integrates various facility management functions, including building control, is correct, but it gets debunked by having a facility space utilization. Bravo, you mentioned. Bravo is just one aspect of the building automation system. So this is again not so it's because an energy efficient tool, okay, HVAC system, this is just one aspect of a building management system. Which of the following would be considered an attribute data in a GIS? Compass orientation would be a part of vector data. because it's on the CAD drawing. The length of pipe run is again part of a vector data. The bitmap of an image of a location, okay, it means that a satellite image or an image is part of the raster data, okay? The type of surfacing used is part of an attribute data. A facility manager is trying to help create a work schedule for a facility technicians that will minimize travel time. How can their graphic information system help?
C.
Charlie. Charlie.
Charlie. GIS shows you the work locations and the travel time between them. It's not a GPS to provide you directions, okay? And it's not allowing technicians to, if you have a BIM, they will be able to visualize this. Automating, there is no automation in a GIS system. Which of the following about RFID systems is correct? RFID systems are appropriate only for tracking items of high value? No, they are used on t-shirts. RFID tags tend to be more robust than barcodes?
Yes.
Yes, that was
Possible.
Yes.
Yes.
Readers must have a clear line of sight? No, that's only for barcodes. All intelligence resides in the server where the application is stored. Again, no, because an RFID chip has intelligence on its, it can store data there. So that was it. Hope you have a better idea now on facility management in general and about the certified facility manager.
About mock exam, Mr. Bahar.
Huh?
About now the mock exam. When's supposed to conduct it?
See, I told you from the beginning, all things related to administrative things, please revert to the administrative staff. Talk to whoever is managing the module from that. They will tell you, and they will announce the date even on the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
It was nice opportunity. Nice.
One question, Mr. Ba, no any sample
Was
exam before?
refreshing lecture, sir. Has value definitely.
No any
Thank you.
sample exam. No any demo or sample exam. We can try it as trial. Sample exam.
There are some questions in the module, but usually I don't know if they release them before or after the exam.
Where can I get it?
Again, ask the administration staff for this kind of things. Really, frankly, I have no idea about them.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, very much.
One question, please. One question.
No problem. I'm not gonna close until all of you.
Okay, this is the last class we are having.
Yeah.
Then what does it mean for if you want to do the certification? The next process.
What does it mean for what?
The CFM now itself. Now, if you have to register and do the exam.
Yeah.
What is the next process now?
You have to log in line and apply for the CAFM, for the CFM.
Yeah, through the office or myself I can do.
No, you have to do it through yourself. If you need some assistant, the office will help you. But usually it's a straightforward process. Log in line, check the IFMA. All details are mentioned there.
Okay.
It's detailed to the last level.
Then with this corona in place, is it exams are exams going on or they're suspended? Because you told us you can go to the computer center. Is it open for the exams?
I really don't know and don't think so. This information will be available online. Check if the Prometric systems are open. The Prometric system in Qatar is the New Horizons. You can take the phone call and call them tomorrow and ask them about it.
Oh, okay, sir.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Julius.
Yes,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Baha.
Thank you, Mr. Baha.
Nice lectures.
I appreciate each and every feedback. Thank you very much, everyone. It was a pleasure giving you these lectures.
Thank you, Mr. Baha. Really, we have enjoyed your explanation and your understanding of everything. It's really, I was enjoying what I have heard from you.
It's good that I'm able to convey the message. I hope everyone is sharing that with you.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you.
Anytime.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good
Thank
night.
you, sir. Good night, sir. Good night.
Night.
Thank you.
Good luck on your exam if you're gonna
Thank you very much, Mr. Baha.
Appreciate it, guys.
It was a very valuable guidance in startup, and your lectures definitely will help us to go through the study materials. Easy for understanding also, hopefully.
I hope you can relate it, and I wish you luck on your journey, whether you're gonna take the exam or not.
Sure. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night. See you next session.